I still can't believe how a simple EV charger in my garage turned into this full-blown neighborhood nightmare. It all kicked off one crisp morning in our quiet suburban cul-de-sac in Willow Creek, when I was yanked out of sleep not by my alarm, but by this frantic banging on the door, like someone was trying to break it down. And there she was, Susan, our HOA busybody extraordinaire, red-faced and heaving this massive yellow extension cord across 2 yards, yelling that my solar-powered charger was basically fair game for her fancy hybrid SUV, demanding I hand over access right then and there because, in her mind, we were all in this green energy community together. I peeked out, coffee in hand, half asleep in my pajamas, and she's standing there like a drill sergeant, arm outstretched. "Open up, Mike. This charger's for everyone. I pay HOA dues too, you know." Her voice echoing down the street, drawing bleary-eyed neighbors in robes, one already filming on his phone, and I'm thinking, is this real life or some bad sitcom episode? Deep down, though, I felt this knot in my gut, because Susan wasn't just nosy. She had this chip on her shoulder ever since my wife Lisa and I installed those solar panels last summer. We'd crunched the numbers, saved a bundle on bills, felt good about going eco, but to her, it was like we'd struck oil in our backyard and were hoarding it, her hybrid guzzling gas while we got it free, ignoring that we'd shelled out thousands for the setup, her jealousy bubbling up from years of her lording over the HOA like it was her personal kingdom, always nitpicking lawns or paint colors to feel in control. I stepped out, trying to stay calm. "Susan, this is my property. I paid for it, it's not shared." But she waves this crumpled HOA pamphlet, neon highlights everywhere. "See? Bylaws say equal access to utilities." Twisting a line about streetlights into her warped logic, her eyes blazing with that self-righteous fire, and when I point out her mistake, she huffs, "Electricity's all right, Mike. I'm saving the planet here with my SUV, unlike your selfish EV parade." Her words dripping with sarcasm, neighbors whispering and chuckling, the tension thick as fog, and I could feel my frustration rising. This wasn't just about charging. It was her way of asserting dominance, resenting how our quiet independence challenged her grip on the block. From there, things snowballed fast. She slapped flyers on every door that night, calling an emergency summit on eco-sharing, her name bold at the bottom like she ran the White House. And by evening, the community hall was buzzing with folks more curious than concerned, Susan up front, keys jingling like a trophy, launching into this passionate rant. "Fairness, equality, Mike's hoarding while we suffer at pumps." Flashing blown-up photos of my EV like evidence in a trial, proposing mandatory access to my charger. Me footing the bill, her voice rising dramatically, and Lisa pipes up from the crowd. "What about safety? You can't just plug in willy-nilly." But Susan snaps back, "I watched tutorials, it's fine." Drawing laughs, her motion flopping as hands stayed down, her face twisting in defeat, muttering threats under her breath as she stormed out, and I knew then this was her digging in deeper, her ego bruised, turning a petty gripe into a personal vendetta. But she didn't stop at words. Oh no. A couple days later, texts from neighbors pinged my phone. Susan lurking by my garage while I was at work, measuring walls like a spy. Then bam, she jams a cheap adapter into my outdoor outlet, tripping breakers. Lisa confronts her. "What the hell, Susan? That's trespassing." And she plays innocent. "It slipped. Accidents happen." But we both saw the scuffs on the charger, her desperation showing, fueled by her failing hybrid battery from bad charges elsewhere, blaming me for forcing her experiments. Her isolation growing as folks distanced themselves, whispering she'd torch her own ride before admitting wrong. I rigged up cameras, documenting everything, and sure enough, one night lights flicker. I bolt out. There she is, half in my garage with some bargain bin splitter, sparks flying, smoke curling, her freezing like a deer in headlights. "Just inspecting for violations," she yells. But the acrid smell hits. I cut power. Lisa snaps photos and Susan bolts, coughing, "Your fault for bad wiring." The footage going viral in our group chat, neighbors dubbing her Zap Queen, her rants on the street turning frantic. EVs are hazards. Regulate them. Her obsession peaking, that mix of envy and power hunger pushing her to extremes, me feeling this weary resolve, like I was defending not just my garage, but our right to live without her meddling. Then came the tipping point. Her boldest play, sneaking that shady off-the-books electrician under cover of night, splicing wires straight from my conduit to her SUV in my driveway, me hearing the hum, rushing out to this horror show, her hybrid shuddering, lights strobing, smoke billowing from the hood with a deafening pop, Susan behind the wheel, grinning at first. See? It's mine now. Then shrieking as circuits fry, the guy fleeing, neighbors swarming with hoses and phones, sirens wailing soon after, fire marshal shaking his head at her melted cords. Lady, this is on you. Deputy reviewing my footage, citing her for trespass and endangerment, her face crumbling, tears mixing with defiance. He sabotaged me. But the crowd's laughter seals it, her empire cracking. In the end, at the packed HOA finale, she struts in all prim slamming papers, corruption, elitism, accusing me of traps, but I lay out permits, reports, videos. The room erupts in gasps and cheers as clips play her tampering, bored fining her thousands, stripping her roll, applause thundering as she rages out, "You'll regret this!" Her SUV towed away, fried beyond fix, neighbors toasting at barbecues, kids sketching zap battles on sidewalks, me bolting a lockbox on the Charger, relief washing over like cool rain, our block breathing easier without her shadow. Yet looking back, I wonder, was it just her ego? Or does this tap into something bigger, like how communities fracture over envy and control, leaving scars that linger? What do you think? Ever dealt with a neighbor like Susan or been on the other side? Drop a comment, share your wild tales. Let's chat about where fairness ends and entitlement begins. Hit like if this hit home and subscribe for more real-life riffs.